Hey guys, I wanted to start this off by saying if you haven't seen my Happy Thanksgiving review, go ahead and watch that one first as I talk about something that I talked about in that video a little later. Now what can I say about Hey Arnold? It was a good show that aired on Nickelodeon, and it might be getting a reboot on Netflix, which I am all for if that goes through. Last year we also got the Hey Arnold Jungle movie, which was a really good movie. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I'm here to talk about Arnold's Thanksgiving. This episode begins with Arnold biking down to see a replica of the Mayflower set sail before having to go to school for a play about the first Thanksgiving.
In 1920, the brave pilgrims reached the New World when they landed at Plymouth Rock.
It is at the play that we first learn about Arnold's Thanksgiving tradition that he is not exactly enthusiastic about.
Well, let me tell you, at my house, Thanksgiving is always a disaster. Grandma's confused and thinks it's the 4th of July, so we always have to go up on the roof and barbecue hot dogs.
We also learn about Helga's feelings about the holiday and what her family tends to do every year.
Stuffing. Big Bob sits in front of the TV like a bloated manatee.
Now both of these things are going to be very important to the overall message of the episode. We then see the modern perception of what a perfect Thanksgiving is, and you can tell that the heart is in the right place here, and it actually tells you part of the message of the episode without being too blatant about it.
And me, I'm just so darn thankful for this wonderful, excitingly diverse family gathering we have every year.
After the play, we see Arnold walk home past stores with a few items associated with Thanksgiving. We also see Helga's family where her mother's busy burning the stuffing and her father being the normally horrible person that he is. Helga comes downstairs and we can see Helga trying to have a connection with her father who ignores her.
And you know why it's a happy Thanksgiving? Mainly because I got 14 straight hours of bone-crunching football on the boob tube.
Now, I do feel sorry for Helga. It's pretty clear throughout the show that all she wants is to be noticed by her parents and Arnold. With Arnold, she always jeopardizes it, but with her parents, she is usually outright ignored, but that's a story for another review. Anyway, we cut back to the boarding house where Arnold suggests that they have what most families would call a normal Thanksgiving.
Yeah, how about if we made turkey and stuffing and pumpkin pie and cranberries this year?
On Helga's side, we see that the pine cone she's been carrying around is meant to be a centerpiece for the table. Hopefully it won't end up like the last one, and Helga's mom tells her to put it next to her sister Olga's centerpiece, which is made of ice and sitting on a table at least a few hours from dinner time. Smart! Helga's sister Olga then comes in and...
Is everyone ready to help me make the Thanksgiving dinner? You can help me fold napkins, Mommy. Come on, Daddy. You have onions to chop and mushrooms to stuff. My baby sister. You're my most important helper of all.
Yeah, I'd probably hate Thanksgiving too if I was forced to put up with this every year. Going back to the boarding house, we see Arnold's family putting up decorations for November 22nd. You know, I wanted to make a joke about this being the halfway point between Thanksgiving and Independence Day, but we're like 2 weeks out from that. Arnold then asks why they can't have a regular Thanksgiving.
Well, we could, but then we'd be like everyone else. What fun would that be?
On Helga's side, we see her being overworked and underappreciated by her family.
For a minute, Mary Sunshine. I've got plenty of other things to do today.
So back to Arnold, where we see Harold stop by the boarding house to get marshmallows, and after insulting Arnold, he goes off laughing and screaming about how Arnold is dressed. Finally pushing Arnold over the edge to the point where he decides to spend this Thanksgiving alone. Back to Helga, and her family is sitting down for dinner, saying what they're thankful for. Helga's dad skips over Helga and decides to go for the food, but is stopped by Olga, reminding him for what I can only assume to be the 8th Thanksgiving in a row, that he has 2 daughters.
I am thankful for absolutely nothing.
Since Helga isn't thankful for anything in her family, she is sent to her room until she is thankful for something, but instead of going to her room, she sneaks out to spend this Thanksgiving alone. We see Helga go to the same window Arnold stopped by, and as she is talking about how much she loves him, Arnold shows up.
What are you doing here?
Stop creeping up on me, you little...
Helga asks why Arnold isn't at the boarding house, and after being answered, she starts talking about why she left her house. They go down to the pier, and Arnold, always the one to look on the positive side, tries to cheer up Helga. After rattling off a few things, he points out the Mayflower and...
Some kind of sign, Helga.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, it's a sign, all right.
Arnold then starts talking about the Thanksgiving play where they had the perfect meal and everyone was happy to be together, only for Helga to tell him that that isn't real life, but this is.
You're right, Arnold. Except for just one thing. That was a play. This is real life.
Arnold then suggests that they go to their teacher's house in hopes that he's having a good Thanksgiving, and they can spend theirs there. Once there, it appears he is having a perfect Thanksgiving, so they ask if they can join his.
Helga? Arnold, what a surprise.
Hi, Mr. Simmons.
Both our Thanksgiving's really blue, and we wondered if we could crash yours.
Of course you can join me.
We are then introduced to Mr. Simmons' family and friends, and Helga realizes that they have the same names as the family from the play. We see everyone interacting, and Mr. Simmons tries to get everyone to get along, only for it to blow up in his face. Arnold and Helga go to the kitchen to talk and realize that they don't have it as bad as they thought. Helga realizes that she doesn't have the worst family, even though they are a dysfunctional one, and Arnold realizes that his family tradition means a lot to his family, even if he isn't too keen on it.
It's a little close to home, huh, Arnold?
Mr. Simmons comes in and overhears their conversation. He talks to them and lets them know that his family is like that every year, but he just wants them to come together and be thankful for what they have. Even though Mr. Simmons knows that he doesn't have the best family, he loves them, and to him, that's all that matters.
Isn't the perfect, wonderful Thanksgiving that I wrote about for the pageant? That this isn't perfect, but those special people out there are the ones that I love. Every year, it's my little project to get them together in a room and try to make us all thankful for the things we've got.
The two leave, and Arnold walks Helga back to her house, where her family is panicking about Helga's disappearance, showing that somewhere deep inside them, they do love her.
You're safe! It's a miracle!
We were worried sick about you, girl. To say that we're thankful for you being our daughter and being around the house.
Happy Thanksgiving, Helga.
Arnold returns home, and we see that his family is messing with him.
Well, after you left, it all turned ugly. I heard that you were out looking for Thanksgiving. Decided to throw you a surprise party!
They set up a Thanksgiving meal for Arnold, and we end this episode with his grandmother's fireworks display. And that was Arnold's Thanksgiving. Overall, this is a good episode, and I think you got the feeling of this holiday very well. If you watched the first review of this month, then you know at the end of that one I asked a question. What is Thanksgiving about? I also wanted to review this episode next week as it ties into this question well, but I wanted to answer the question today. For me and so many others, Thanksgiving is a time to be with the people you love, to be thankful for what you have and who you have. In many respects, I think that this is why we overlook this holiday, because for many respects, this is what Christmas is also about. Both holidays are meant to be with the people you love, and for many people like myself, we have very similar traditions. For both holidays, in my family, we all come together on both Thanksgiving and Christmas. We eat a feast, spend time together, and try and be merry. It's just with Christmas you get presents. And I think that this is the only reason why this holiday is so overlooked by pretty much everyone. For kids, they care mostly about getting things, and for businesses, there's just more money to be made in Christmas. Now, with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to give this episode its rating. I'm giving Arnold's Thanksgiving a 9 out of 10, as it's the first episode to really get me into the holiday spirit this month, and maybe that'll change the next time. But for now, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go fight with my brother over a turkey leg.